If you are wanting to create content ideas that people are actually searching for inside of Pinterest and to create that content before it becomes super popular, then you are in the right place. In this video, we are going to be talking about a free tool that Pinterest offers that allows you to see what people are likely going to be searching for in the future. And because when people come to Pinterest, they have a very high search intent, this tool is incredibly powerful. And the best part is it's free and it's right in your Pinterest account. We, of course, are going to be talking about the Pinterest Trends tool. I'm going to be giving you a full course on this tool right here, so that by the time you walk away from this, you will know everything that you need to know: how to find trends, how to get content for that, how to find inspiration, and how to use all the different aspects of this tool. Because I find that when people do use the Pinterest Trends tool, sometimes they only use part of it or just a little bit of it, but I want to show you everything that it actually can provide. Now, before we jump in, I do want to mention that this video is in partnership with Pinterest, so I do want to thank them for being a great partner of the channel. Let's jump right into the Pinterest Trends tool. Now, in order to get to this tool, once you are inside of your account, you can click on the three little arrows here and then click on Pinterest Trends and it will bring you to this view right here. I always do this on desktop. I've actually never tried this on mobile. Desktop is just the easiest way to see everything here. Now, once you're inside of this view, you'll see this search bar right here. But before we jump to this, I do want to point out that you can customize the region. Now, I'm going to be doing this example in the United States because that's where I'm located, but you will want to make sure that you click this down and look at all of the different regions that are currently available. Now, I do know that some of the regions aren't available. Not every place is available for the Pinterest Trends tool. Don't worry, I'll be showing you a little bit of a workaround or a different tool that you can use to sometimes find trends. It probably won't be as good as, if you're able to target a specific region, but it could be another workaround. So stick around for that. So now let's head back over here to the Pinterest Trends keywords trending on Pinterest. Now here you can actually type in a specific keyword and it will start to show you the trends for that keyword. If you aren't sure where to start with this keyword, chances are you probably have an idea of what maybe some keywords that you can start with. But what you could also do is you could come to your Pinterest account and go to analytics. If you click on this little bar right here and then go to analytics overview, from here you can sort by impressions and look at what of your current pins are currently getting the most impressions. I find that this is sometimes a good place to start because you can kind of see, okay, DIY mirror wall, here is something that is a popular pin. Maybe there are more trends related around that, or maybe you can create more content around those things. So that's just another thing for you to keep in mind when you are looking at the keywords of what you want to maybe create more content with. For me, I'm going to do an example of an accent wall here. And you can see once I start typing in the keyword, what's cool is Pinterest is actually going to give me a little brief overview of the trend for this particular keyword. You can see right now, it's pretty much flat for this one, but let's click inside of it and see if we can find something that's a little bit more trending, more niche for accent walls. So we can see here, we have our keyword right here, and then there's this little globe right here. Now, pay attention to this little purple globe. I'm going to come back to that here in just a minute. But as we scroll down, what I like to do from this point is I have my accent wall keyword, and you see right now, there's not really any trends going on with this keyword. But if I come back over here and I look down at the related trends, this becomes really powerful because here I can see just by looking at this little graph that right now wall design is all of a sudden starting to trend up and wall design ideas. So I took a keyword that was super broad, accent walls, and then from here, I've now found two keywords that are on the trend and up and up. And now you see the search volume isn't as crazy as accent walls, but if I exit out of this, you can see there is a clear trend of these two keywords going up. So what I would do is I would take note of those two, wall design ideas, and I would go back and create a pin related to those two specific things. Now up in this top right hand part, I'm going to go back and add accent walls here because I want to show you something. If we add accent wall back in, you can see you can add up to 4 different keywords here. So if I wanted to also add wall patterns, that is as much as you can add in. You can see if I try to add a 4th one, it tells me I can't. But with this one, you can see with accent walls, it has this little different globe thing here. And this is something that's actually pretty new inside of Pinterest that I think is kind of neat. You can see what it will do is it will predict the future. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. Nothing is guaranteed here, but it will actually tell you how this particular search trend will behave in the next 3 months in the future. So you can see right here, here's the total trends. I'm just going to exit out of these to make this a cleaner view here. Here's the trend for accent walls, and it predicts that here in April, we're going to have the 69 to, a little bit jump of search volume inside of here. So this is really helpful if you have a keyword that you aren't sure if it's going to pop off or not, that you can use the little prediction globe here inside of there. I've noticed as I've used this tool for the predict the future, most of the time it's for more broad search keywords, which makes sense. It's ones that have the most volume coming through for them. So it just depends on whatever you're searching for that it may show up on this particular search term. Now, one other thing that you can do here is you can change the date range. Generally, I like to look at the past year or sometimes the past 2 years. I don't find that having the past 3 months or 6 months as helpful for something like this, but you can go through and change that. And then what I really like the most is here, you do have the demographics and the gender, which is kind of helpful, but more importantly, I like this popular pins. This is really good if you're looking for inspiration on what is currently working working. What I like to do is look at this and see if there's any trends on what is currently popular for this particular keyword. And you see right now, it looks like having the image here and then text of some sort in the middle. This one has the 9 accent walls. This has 16. And then this one has DIY accent walls here. It seems like people really want to see multiple accent walls inside of a picture, and they like a very clear text that's showing what the pin is about. So I would take that and kind of use that as my design inspiration as well. If you wanted to see more of these, you can click on this and it will show you even more of those designs there. Oh, and one other thing that I forgot to point out here that is important to note is this is how often people are searching for a keyword compared to all other keywords searched that week on an index from 0 to 100. So when this shows 60 or 70 here, that doesn't mean only 70 people are searching for this. That's just like kind of a weighted average on this. So basically the higher it goes, the more search volume there is. Just something to keep in mind there in case you're confused on that. Now let me show you one more example here on one that is currently kind of on the uptrend. And we're going to go with curb appeal here. That's one that I'm getting ready to create a pin for. Now, when I was looking at curb appeal, you can see it makes sense that in the winter or in the spring and summer is when it starts to pop off. So I know that it's about to pop off again. But what I like to do is look at some of these other ones here. You can see deck, porch, pergola. These are all going here. But then outdoor projects, this kind of has an outsized trend here where it's starting to go up a little bit more. You can see historically, it wasn't as high as it is now year over year. So this is another one where I would look at this and say, okay, this is going crazy. I need to create something for outdoor project ideas, because last year, this time it wasn't even going that crazy. And then here I would even come and look at 2 years and see if it was going that crazy. It looks like it was higher during this time as well, but still about to pop off right here during this time. All right, so now we've talked about the search tool. We're just going to kind of make our way down on all these tools so you understand what all of them can do. This next one here is one that honestly, for the longest time, it was one that I kind of ignored because I didn't understand it and the power of it. And now I understand how powerful this actually is. So these are growing trends that your audience loves. Now inside of here, you can filter this to a specific interest. I like to keep it on all interests because it gives me the kind of broad ones that people are searching for the most. But you can see here, if I change this to just home decor, it will filter it just a little bit here down to more specific ideas. But if I come over here to all interests, it gives me whatever my audience is currently searching for. Now, if you hover over this, this will tell you exactly what this means. So it says your audience searched kitchen island trim 393 more times often than Pinterest users did in the last 90 days. Now, why is this powerful? The reason why this is powerful is because the way that Pinterest works is once somebody starts interacting with your content, the chances of your content showing up again when they're searching for things, I feel like there's a higher chance of that happening. Pinterest is telling me, hey, a lot of your current audience who already interacts with your stuff is interested in kitchen island trim ideas. So if you have anything around that content, it's probably a good idea for you to create something around that. And you can see this one's a huge outlier, like almost 393 times. This one's only 38, and then it goes down from there. And if you scroll through here, it will give you all of these different ideas. If it's a 1x or a 2x, it's probably not the biggest idea, but if you have an outlier, especially like this with kitchen island trims, I would say it's something that you want to jump on almost immediately so that you can take advantage of that huge trend that is coming your way. I'm probably going to go through and create one for this kitchen island trim and this wood paneling right here, because those are two huge opportunities for me inside of this account. And then as we scroll down here, we have the discover trends in the United States or wherever you are doing. You can change the country here. I'm going to move myself out of the way. You can see this works very similar to the keyword search, but it's a little bit more of a broad approach. What I personally like to do is here you can search by toply monthly trends and it will kind of change things around. You can see the search volume here. You can do the top yearly trends, and then you can do even seasonal trends here. But what I find to be the most helpful is the growing trends, because I like to find trends where they're kind of newer trends and a lot of people haven't created content with them that I can go through and create the content with here. So you can see in this, it will have the keyword that you're looking for, the weekly change, kind of a graph of the overview, the monthly change, and the yearly change. What's nice about this view is you can export it into an CSV in case you wanted to go kind of data nerd on this and filter out different things and create your own little spreadsheets here. But what I like to do is look at the growing trends here and see if any of these fit my particular niche. For me, I'm in the home improvement spot. And as I look at these, a lot of it is related to spring nails. And so it's not going to be super helpful for me, but I generally like to give it just a look over just to make sure. Nothing in this is really helpful, but that doesn't mean that the discover trend isn't going to be helpful for me if I just refine it a little bit here. And in order to refine it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over down here to the interest, and then inside of the interest, I'm going to change this to home decor, and let's see if there's any others that are DIY and crafts as well would be another one that I could add. And here you can customize this a little bit more for growing trends in your specific niche. You see there's lots of different ones that you can change this to. Now I can scroll through this and kind of get ideas on what I'm looking for. Now some of these are more related to like the Easter holiday coming up or flowers and things like that. But as I scroll through here, landscaping design ideas, that's a good one for me to go through and create content for. Another one here is mud kitchen. That's a great one. And then front porch flowers could be another one. Home color design. If I click on mud kitchen here, you can see it will actually take me to the view that we were looking at before, specifically with the keywords where we have more designs here. You can see here's another keyword that's about to pop off. Mud kitchen ideas, kitchen, kid outdoor play areas, lots of things that you can do with that. But we can scroll back over here. And even after you do go through and actually do the interest and you're like, that still didn't show me everything that I'm wanting to see, you can exit out of the interest. And then from here, you could actually do even more refined search and give it a specific keyword. For example, I am wanting to do something with a home office. So we're going to do that. And we're going to hit enter here and see kind of what we get pop up. Now, when you do the keywords, you'll notice, especially the more niche your keyword, the least kind of results you're going to get. So you see here, I have home office setup is something that is currently trending right now. If you change this to more top monthly searches, it generally gives gives you more ideas here. So the most kind of refined way I found is that with growing trends and with a keyword, and you can see it only gives me one of the results there. So if that happens with you and you're like, I want a little bit more ideas, you can come over here to top monthly trends, and you can see now we have a lot of different trends going on here. But you can see when you do the top monthly trends, some of them are on the downtrend right now. And so they still could be good content, but not as fresh or not as much of a trend that's about to pop off. Here, if I do the top yearly trends, this is a good one. That's the one that we already looked at, the home office setup. And I'm just looking at these graphs to see which ones pop up. Home office aesthetic could be another good one for me to go through and do. Female home office right here, a good option. And then feminine home office ideas. So it looks like that's some sort of trend going on right there with female home offices that you could create content for. And then last here on these filters is you do have the age and also the gender. To be honest, these are two filters that I don't use all that often. I find that my content I just kind of create, and then the age and the gender kind of just fall into place, but you could filter out by age and gender if you wanted to do that as well. Then when we scroll down here, we have the top trends in the United States this month. This is across all of Pinterest, so it's very, very broad. And if you create content in these niches, I would 100% recommend creating content for, like, if you did an account that was related to spring nails or nails, hairstyles, outfit ideas, you could go through and do that. For me, as I look through these, what I'm doing is I'm looking for any that are related to my niche. And right here, I see this one right now, home aesthetic DIY. That's a great one for me to go through and create content for as a home improvement account. And as I scroll through here, that's probably going to be the one that I would create content on, but you can see there's lots of them inside of here. And then here at the bottom, before I go through and show you some kind of more hidden tools, we do have the Pinterest predicts. This is trends to expect in the 2025. Pinterest does this every year. A lot of people look forward to looking at these trends. If you click on this, these are also a little bit more like broad trends as well, but can also be helpful depending on what niche you're in. So if you click inside of here, you can see tomorrow's trends today. And this is the menu where you can scroll through all the different trends. So cherry coated is one of the first ones here, and it kind of gives you a rundown of what this trend is, the search terms for it specifically, and like kind of how this color is starting to pop off. And then you can scroll through on the right hand side and look at some of these other ones as well, like primary play. Here's another example of some of these trends that you could do, and it gives you kind of a little bit of background on what these trends are specifically. Now, I did mention if you are outside of the US and are looking for something that could give you trends, or if you're also inside the US or any of the target locations where you can actually find growing trends, this is also another great resource. This is the 2025 content calendar. And I think this is super good resource because it kind of goes through and it tells you, okay, between December 30th and January, here's some of the things that we think are going to be trending. And you can literally go through the entire month and get ideas of historically what is going to be trending, or based on Pinterest data that they have, what is going to be trending in that particular time. Obviously, a lot of these are going to be like holidays and things like this, but random ones like this for March 10th through the 16th. And you can see they have some of the essentials here, game changing, blooming, but you can kind of scroll through this calendar and get an idea of what is going to be trending while you are in Pinterest. And to be honest, this is a good tool if you're just creating content in general, whether it is on Pinterest or on other platforms. I think this is a really good content calendar for you to have to know what kind of things are going to be happening during a particular week, essentially. And what's cool is here on the top, you can actually submit your content so it could get featured there. So if you wanted to, you can click on that and submit your content. I'll leave a link to this down below. Here's the URL in case you wanted that. Now, while you are in here, another resource that I do want to call out is the success stories. Inside of here, if you click this, it actually has a bunch of different success stories that you can go through, and you go at the goal, strategy, content, brand type, and look at some of these. This is another good place for you to discover new ideas. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions on this, or comment what trends you are currently finding in the Pinterest Trends tool, and we'll see you in the next video.